afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once to the Chatham-Kent Athletic Complex. As you see the Chatham-Kent Cougars marching onto the field for today's playoff game between the Chatham-Kent Cougars and the Forest City Thunderbirds. I'm Gary Patterson. With me is Matt Webrink. And Matthew, should be a dandy game today. These two teams have a little bit of a history this season.
Yeah, recent history as well, coming off of a 12-6 win for the Cougars over this Forest City team. Also very close to the standings. I believe the Cougars ended up third and Forest City ended up fourth, so it should be a good game tonight or this afternoon. And they're playing for third place out here today, so a lot on the line between these two teams.
Well, you know what? And it looks like they're two evenly matched squads. Everybody who's seen these teams play said that it should be a very tight game today.
Yeah, and I'm not sure it's going to be blown wide open or not. We have a nice sunshine and a few clouds out there, so good weather conditions anyways. But last game 12-6, low scoring, so appeared to be quite a defensive battle on the last one. We'll have to see how they come out swinging today.
Well, Jack Crow is going to be the big story for the Chatham-Kent Cougars, of course, quarterback for the Cougars, and he's definitely going to be something else as well. There's so many weapons the Cougars have as well.
Yeah, at this level, you got to look for a lot of ground action. We'll probably see a lot of runs, maybe some quarterback sneaks as well, and quarterback keepers out there. I expect Crow maybe taking up the middle a little bit. We saw a good game just before this as well, and yeah, you can't say enough about the weather. Perfect conditions out here today, so wouldn't expect that to be much of a factor unless heat exhaustion possibly.
As the Cougars are introduced for today's matchup, of course, this Ontario varsity football, the whole division has been absolutely tremendous. We just witnessed the game between North Halton and Oakville, and again, it was fairly close until the end. And these kids just give it 100% every down.
Yeah, that game came right down to the wire. It was 28-20, but the team that was behind, just trying to kick it for an onside kick a little bit, couldn't muster up that last little bit of offense they needed to tie it up. But yeah, really close game, nice finish in that one. We expect to see much of the same in this one here this afternoon.
As the Cougars have been announced, including the coaching staff, head coach Joe Rabideau, he's got the squad in. Sean Ladd, Luke Scarab, Don Zondag, R.D. Pierce, Ryan Shepard, Carl Emmett, and Mike Glassford are the coaches for the Chatham-Kent Cougars, and probably not going to talk too much about the coaching staff during the game because we're going to be focusing on the field. But again, when it comes to that, you get that group as well with the team managers, Crystal Duquette and Janelle Beamer, as well as Josh Kerr, Corey Lozon, the equipment manager, and Leah Norman and Kerr does medical here. Very important parts of the team as well. Yeah,
not even just so much learning plays, but just learning how to play football and play it well at this level. The kids are still learning a lot of the basics, the fundamentals, and they're really coming out here today, and a lot of the reason that they're here today is because of those coaching, those equipment staff, and those guys who are keeping them in top shape.
You hit it right, the formative years for these young players. And it's funny how a good coach can keep you interested in a sport. I've heard so many stories about people who have been turned off of a sport because of a bad coach.
Yeah, we got the JV team coming out here tomorrow, again playing another big game, playoff game, and a big reason that a lot of those guys have seen those names over the last couple of years moving up the ranks, and part of the reason that they're still playing at that level is because of the coaching and because of these guys that are out here, especially in this Chatham-Kent group that have just been doing such a great job teaching them the basics, but also, just instilling life values as well in these kids.
Well, and the man right there at midfield is part of the big reason here for Chatham-Kent, Selwyn Jordan, as he makes sure that all of these kids are enjoying the game and enjoying the life values and doing it safely.
Yeah, definitely, and just a big part of that. Sel just plays a big role in this organization.
As the teams get ready to go, head for their pregame chat, and 12 minutes on the clock, so for the first quarter. And again, we're expecting kind of gets more of a ground battle, as you mentioned, and a defensive battle by these squads.
Yeah, if the last game's any indication, 12-6, low-scoring game, and we expect to see the same out here today. I would expect to see a lot of run plays out there, maybe air it out a little bit near the end if you get comfortable. And there's not much of a little bit of a breeze, but not too much wind either. So don't expect that to be too much of a deterrent to airing it out. But at this level, their arm strength just isn't quite there yet. So I would expect to see quite a few more runs.
That's the big thing too. When you're watching these at this level, it's just amazing to see how these kids are developing and to watch how they go into the senior years, you know, and they move up through Bantam and then on through junior varsity and varsity. That to follow the kids' careers, and you see the kids that it seems if they grow a couple inches suddenly that they're now on a different plane with the other kids.
Yeah, and at this level too, I mean, you can see the size difference. Some of these kids standing a head and shoulders above others, and yeah, just the development that they go through. Some earlier growth spurts than others. So you never know how a kid's going to turn out, I don't think, until they get to about the JV level, start to get a little more set in how tall and how big they're going to be.
Both teams doing a little, letting them know what's going on and getting all worked up. And that's part of it too, is getting the kids in the right mindset for the game. Get them out there ready to tackle the opponents and just to rock it out.
Yeah, for sure. And you got to see if one team or the other might have a couple nerves going into this game. You know, it's a 3-4 matchup. They just played each other, so they're quite familiar. But big stage, and for Chatham-Kent to be able to host this game is big for their fans as well. Didn't have to go very far, and good contingent of green and white out here supporting them today.
As the Thunderbirds take to the field, the Cougars will be out there in a second. Thunderbirds will be receiving on today's first kickoff, opening kickoff, and back to receive is number 25, Alex Cardero. As well, the other deep man is Adam Abuzini. Let's take that shot of that name, right? Abuzini. And here's the kickoff. And making that boot is number 34 for the Cougars, Brendan Normand and Kerr. And it's hauled in by number 25, Cardero.
Yeah, so not crazy amount of distance on there, but it was, you know, when you hit that ball on the ground and it's bouncing around like that, the person who's receiving it can sometimes be more difficult than when it's coming in the air at you. You got to grab that off the bounce, and, you know, just the shape of the football causes an unpredictable bounce sometimes. So good job by the Cougars to put them in good field position back here. They make a nice defensive stop.
As they line up, Thunderbirds get their first crack at it. First set of downs. And offside called against the Cougars. I believe that's going to be an offside.
Yeah, I talked about some of those, you know, those jitters, those little nerves to start the game. Sometimes you jump the gun a little bit too much because you're just too ready to go, ready to make those tackles, as you said, ramping them up on the sidelines. And then first play of the game, just can't wait to get past the line.
So the Cougars already start off down 5 yards. As the quarterback, Aiden Sweeney, goes under center for the Thunderbirds. Sweeney set. Back spin out and gives it off to Cardero. Cardero is dragged down quickly, and from the line of scrimmage, that'll be a loss of about 4 yards.
As Braden Scarab, number 20 for the Cougars on the tackle, able to make it through the penetration there on the offensive line, able to wrap him up around the waist and just take him down. That's textbook tackle right there.
And again, that's you're going to see so much. That's the great thing about this. A lot of the fundamentals are so correct here, and these kids are learning it, and they're taking what they've got to the bank every day.
Yeah, and that was a great example right there. Just, yeah, early penetration, getting through that offensive line, able to find a hole on the outside. And as they pitched it to this side nearest to us, he was able to find the room in there and just go in and make the tackle.
We had see another penalty there, and it gives them a first down. At the 45-yard line. Again, he's back. Cardero takes it again. And Cardero's got a short gain of about 3 yards after the handoff from Sweeney.
Yeah, it was Braden Scarp again, number 20 on that far side. He moved over to the other side, and he had the initial contact to help one of his teammates take him down eventually, but slowed up the running back enough there to allow his teammates to take him down.
So it's 2nd and 7. As Sweeney once again under center, 2nd down. Got 3 backs. Got split, got your full back, and again, this one's off to the number 29, and for the Quentin Santos for the Thunderbirds, and he's got a gain of probably about 6 yards on that, and so they're just one shy of a first down.
Yeah, pitched around the outside again. We're seeing a number of pitching right now. Not many handoffs, but just finding that room, swing it out wide. And with this wide field out here, you got lots of room on the sidelines, and tough to make those stops when they're pulling your defense all the way to the far side.
Well, that's the key. You keep swinging a little wide, and the defense will start spreading out a little bit, and then you can try and run up the gut a little bit. As they're set, Sweeney. Again, you've got your fullback and your two backs in the backfield. Fullback is 44, Joe Thomas. No, hands it off to Thomas, and Thomas just digs down and rumbles. Wow, he's a workhorse, and he right up to the 50-yard line of the Cougars. What a beast.
Yeah, lost in the backfield there a little bit. I was watching behind the play, and there was one of the Forest City players who was actually making some nice straight-up blocks because there was a Cougar who was trying to come in around the back way and tackle him from behind, but they made some nice blocks, so he had that time to get up the field.
So the Thunderbirds, a fresh set of downs here. Cougars defense is ready to stand up. Aiden Sweeney again under center, calling the signals. And again, I believe offside is a call on this one. Cougars a little, although Thunderbirds coach is pretty revved up. It is against Chatham. So they're going to march it off 5 more yards as he caused them to go offside.
Yeah, the Cougars just getting that early jump on here. I mean, they want to make that tackle so bad that sometimes you just look for any sort of movement at the line and you just jump in it a little too early. I think Forest City maybe snapping a little bit slower than Cougars expect, and maybe that's why they're jumping offside.
Both backs split out. Sweeney set. They've got a slot back, like a throwing play possibly. Nope, they hand it off to Thomas. Thomas is met by a sea of green, and a flag is down on the play as well. Thomas gained about a yard, but we'll see what the penalty is here.
I was going to say, I think Braden Scarab, I think number 20 was the one who made the tackle in there. Yeah, they're going to call a personal foul on the defense there again. So penalty trouble for the Cougars early here. And that's going to move it up 15 yards. Yeah, as you mentioned, I think it was a face mask penalty on the takedown there.
So they march off the 15. Most of the Thunderbirds penalties, if you've indicated, has been on penalties.
Yeah, and it's really too bad because these Cougars are making a number of nice stops out there. They're making some good tackles and really slowing up this Forest City team. But every time they make a good stop, it seems that there's a flag thrown as well in the same play.
Sweeney once again under center. Lots of different looks by the Thunderbirds. A lot of men in motion. They're back. Fires it out to the flats, and incomplete pass as he tried to hit 18 Guerin rolls on that play.
Yeah, it looked like Caden Jefferson, number 50, was going to be right there on him if he ended up catching the ball. But as you mentioned, just a little bit too far in front of him, trying that lateral pass to find some room down the field. 2nd and
10 for the Thunderbirds on the Chatham-Kent 30-yard line. 8:32 left in the first quarter here at the Chatham-Kent Athletic Complex. Ontario Varsity Football. Peewee, this will be the 3rd place game. Day of Champs here. All the playoff games being held at the Chatham-Kent Athletic Complex. So pitch back and trying to bust through there with Santos. And Santos, a small gain, but he was met.
Yeah, one of the Cougars, number 44, maybe it looked like there. I think that's Malachi Ladd, just reached out with his arm and was wrapping up the running back to slow him up enough again for one of his teammates to come in there. You mentioned Sea of Green. These Cougars are really swarming all together, working as a team. Once that runner gets the ball in his hands, it seems like 2 or 3 guys are right on him.
Sweeney has his play called into him, brought into him, and 3rd down. Got the fullback Thomas all set to go. Split it out. Sweeney back to throw. Puts it up in the air and incomplete. Looks like number 18 Rolls might have ran the wrong route, tucked in a little bit soon, and incomplete.
Yeah, Caden Jefferson for the Cougars was backpedaling there, but when you're running back like that, it's a lot harder to track the ball if it's going over your head. If he was able to get a little bit of distance behind it and run in towards it from behind, then it's a lot easier to make that catch, but it was a couple feet over his head, and there was no way he was making that interception.
4th down here as you 4th and 10. Sweeney set under center for the Thunderbirds. Forest City Thunderbirds against the Chatham-Kent Cougars here. Sweeney pitches off, and Santos makes a cut. There's a penalty, a flag on the play. We'll see what that's all about here in a second. A Santos gain of about maybe a yard and a half.
Yeah, maybe too early to say. Another nice defensive stop for the Cougars. We'll have to see which way this penalty goes. And it looks like, yeah, it's against Forest City this time. So this time goes in their favor. Cougars turning it around and showing that when they play penalty-free, football out there, then they got some pretty solid defense going.
So the penalty declined as they get ready to go. See Mark Malone from the Chatham Daily News. Is he everywhere? Mark, he's everywhere. He's out there taking photos and getting ready to write this up. Of course, I have to mention, Matt Weaverink of Blackburn Radio as well, who's here. So it's important, too, the local media, as you guys and Chatham Daily News do so much coverage of the Cougars. That's really helpful to the program.
Yeah, it's good for the kids to see. You see your name in the paper, you see your name on online publications like blackburnnews.com or on Facebook and things like that, too. I think that really encourages them as well.
It's pitched off. A little flea flicker here. Tossed out. Oh, and a little trickery on the side as it was pitched out to number 34, Brennan Norman, and Kerr not being able to haul it in was number 32, Caleb Roberts.
Yeah, Caleb Roberts, that one just came off his hands and just about had that one, and it was a nice play, as you mentioned, that flea flicker. We've seen a couple of those pitches already, so wouldn't expect him to throw the ball, maybe expect him to run it out, but nice trickery play there to start things off, and almost a big gain.
Norman and Kerr is a big kid. I'm pretty sure he'd do all right just running the ball too, wouldn't he?
Yeah, we may see that later in this game as well. I would not be surprised.
His quarterback under center is Jack Crow. Number 5 for the Cougars. He's under center. They're running the I formation. Pitches out to Norman and Kerr. Norman and Kerr this time is going to run with it. And short gain, maybe about 2 yards on that play, if that. Bring up a 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, once he got the ball in his hands, he was looking down the field. I wouldn't be surprised if they were trying a different look on the far side there, that he was going to weigh his options. And once he took those couple of stutter steps to start, it was too late. Forest City just collapsed in on him.
As I said, with 5:42, Gary Patterson, Matt Weaverink bringing you the game here. Live from the Chatham-Kent Athletic Complex. As Matt mentioned, perfect day for football today. Crow, everybody set. Split backs. They're in motion now. Crow's going to keep this one. He's looking for the blocks. He's got to cut out. He's got to cut north and south here if he wants to get that first down. And they kept them going east and west for a gain of about 4 yards on that play. The tackle on that. Number 30, David Mateus, is the big tackle there, and number 27, Carson Wright.
Yeah, as you mentioned, looking for those blocks. He's not the biggest kid, but he's pretty quick on his feet, so if he had an extra block in there, I think he might have been able to make it. But
just had to find that seam right north and south, and he was gone.
Exactly, just going out wide, and that's a lot of ground to cover as well. That's got to be exhausting for him, even though he didn't make it up the field. He's still covering a lot of ground.
But for guys my age, it's exhausting. These kids, they can do that all day. As they're 4th down, set to kick. It's touched and picked up by number 18, Rolls. Rolls cuts to the sideline. He's got one man to beat and pushed out of bounds by number 1, Alex Jones.
Yeah, Jones made a clutch play there, even though he didn't take him down, just pushing him out of bounds because it looked like 18 was off to the races there. Looked like he had some room. You can hear some fans from here, from London, just cheering him on, and I'm sure he had the momentum going for him with the fans and everybody cheering for him. It was looking pretty close, but yeah, clutch play for Chatham to keep that one out.
So now 1st and 10 for the Thunderbirds at the 28-yard line of the Chatham-Kent Cougars.
I think it's about the same place that Forest City made it to last time, and we saw the Cougars with some big stops, a couple of passing attempts that they batted down and just missed their targets, and then a couple of stops on the ground as well.
Key is penalty-free football for the Cougars, right? As once again, Sweeney set. His back's all split off. He rolls to the left, and he's met by green jerseys, and he might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage as he scampered out of bounds.
Yeah, he had some room, but the Cougars out wide there, a number of them, and he just didn't pick up the blocks that he needed to make it very far. Picked up maybe a yard or so, And Cougars again with a nice stop on defense.
Yeah, nice penetration by Chatham-Kent to get it in through the blockers. So 2nd down and 9 here with a 4:10 left. Ball on the 27-yard line of the Chatham-Kent Cougars. Quarterback Aiden Sweeney, sports number 4 for the Thunderbirds. Pitches off to the right. Santos makes a one weave, and then he is ripped down. Ooh, what a tackle.
Yeah, Joseph Reimer, number 22, just took him and threw him like a rag doll right to the ground. Made no mistake there. He wrapped him up around the waist and just tossed him down.
In the books is about a 1-yard gain. He's going up 3rd down and a long 7.
That's a couple big stops here for the Cougars again on the ground, and their defense, like you said, penalty free. They're looking good.
And Reimer, he was a monster on that one. Holy.
He had eyes. He had eyes the whole way. He knew what he was doing.
Like a shark through the water. Sweeney under center. Pulls it up. Empty backfield. He's going to throw. He fires the bomb, and he overthrows. What an arm on this kid. He overthrows Thomas Mazurek. Well, he just couldn't go fast enough.
Yeah, exactly. I think he may have underestimated his quarterback's arm there. I don't know if he just couldn't make it there in time or whether the pressure forced the quarterback to throw it a little earlier than he would have liked. But, yeah, we saw he has an arm now, and he was open in the end zone almost. He was going to make it there if he caught that ball. He's all alone.
Cougars definitely take notice of that one. That's for sure. Seeing that arm, they know that he can fire the ball.
Yeah, we mentioned that a lot of ground play today. Well, with an arm like that, why not air it out? We've seen that a couple times now from London. If he can connect with one of his receivers out there, that could be a big gain or even a touchdown. 4th
down, Sweeney set. Rolls out, fires it in, and good play by Cougars number 50.
Yeah, that was Caden Jefferson. Again, we've seen him a number of times making some quick plays. There was one time I'm thinking back to, he was backpedaling, trying to make a pass catch as well, an interception. But this time with that quick contact, just to knock it out of the receiver's hands to leave him with nothing there. So we mentioned maybe a defensive battle here today. Well, so far the Cougars have shown that they can hold their own, especially even on their side of the field, making a couple of big stops about at the 30, 35-yard line.
As the Cougars now ready to roll here. Crow. Plays called into him. He's all set. Pitches it off. And caught deep in his own zone. Now forced to do a little backpedaling, but he finds a seam. That's number 46 for the Cougars, Ben Church, and he looked like he was going to be taken for a loss there, and he just found a hole.
Yeah, he decided to reverse the field, and usually when you do that, you don't find much room, and I think he decided quickly there he had to cut to the middle, and there was some room in the middle, and he made it up for a couple yards gain and turned what looked like it was going to be a loss and a bad play into a decent gain as well, at least a couple yards, making it up the middle.
Crow set. Chatham's running game solid here. 2 backs in tight. Crow to the shotgun, waits, gets a good block, gets it away, fires it up, and almost, oh my goodness, and trying to haul that one in was number 20 for the Cougars, Braden Scarab.
Yeah, Scarab just off the fingertips, and looked like some good pressure there from Forest City coming on the quarterback. So good on the quarterback, Crow, to air that one out and almost make it to a receiver. And he was open. He had that hand out. He just couldn't get 2 hands on the ball and haul that one in.
Third down and 9. Cougars looking to make something happen here, get out of their own side, and a short gain on that one. Just trying to make that run through there and getting hauled down.
Ben Church on the carry.
The number 46, Ben Church, on that carry.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding so far for both teams, not making too much ground on any of these plays. Again, we mentioned trying to go up the middle this time, and Forest City just wraps them up early. Defense looking very strong for both teams.
Less than a minute to go in the first quarter. Crow. Actually, they're going to give a good kick here. It's back. Big kick by Dudley, I believe it was. And again, Cole making rolls, makes the move. He goes inside instead of out. Touchdown, Forest City. Number 18, Garrett rolls. It looked like Jones was expecting him to cut to the sideline as last time, but he went inside this time and forced, kind of caught Jones flat-footed, and he's off to the races.
Exactly. Rolls was coming in the same way he did last time, made that cut to the outside, and it all started because of a big block on Braden Scarab. He had eyes to make that tackle, but after a big punt for the Cougars, it was Rolls who was able to grab that ball, come down the sideline. As you mentioned, the first time he got knocked out by Jones out to the sideline, and this time able to cut inside and find some room and take it all the way back for a touchdown.
So the Thunderbirds draw first blood on special teams. Getting ready to kick for Forest City is number 47, Harry and Luther. And he zips it through. I think if that thing would have hit the upright, it would have knocked it down. It was just a bullet through there.
He certainly did. It was straight and true right through the upright. So they're going to go up 7-0 here, and we'll have to see if the Cougars offense can get something going, maybe with a little bit better field position than they've seen so far.
Again, the defense was solid, and just on that special teams, it just the Cougars have to get something going offensively. They'll figure it out.
It was that Rolls though. You know, number 18, we saw a flash of brilliance in that first time he touched the ball with the kick return as well, and he was just knocked out at the last moment by Alex Jones this time. Jones making a similar play and maybe committed a little too early to push him to the outside. He was able to cut inside on him and couldn't get a hand on him to bring him down.
Get these kids that have that speed, right? You get a step up and you're gone.
No kidding, yeah, and just a nice move to the inside for Forest City. That was a nice play he had there, and after that, it was last man back, and he beat him and was able to take it into a touchdown.
There's the big boot back to scoop it up. There's number 81, Trevon Smith. Smith cuts up, and he just heads right into the eyes of the jaws of the Lions right there. It goes right up the middle and gets knocked down at about the 30, probably about the 39-yard line.
Yeah, best field position these Cougars have seen so far after being buried deep in their own end for a little bit, because Forest City's been pushing the ball that way. But after a couple of good defensive stops, we'll see if the Cougars can answer back here with any kind of offense going.
We'll see what there's an answer if Joe Rabideau has something to answer the Thunderbirds defense here. Crow under center, again out of the eye. Man in motion. Penalty against the Cougars.
I think they're calling a timeout maybe. Timeout? It looked like they had one guy running on there at the last second. I think the coach wanted to call a timeout just so they didn't have a penalty called against him at this point.
Nope.
There's just 9 seconds left as well in the first quarter.
I mistook him for the man in motion there. He was trying to get a play in.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, and it was a quick whistle as well. And I saw the T come up from the officials, and wouldn't be surprised though. They have been calling a number of penalties so far, and just a little bit of disorganization, and good call by the coach there to sort of get him centered and get him ready after a big offensive play for Forest City. The Cougars got to answer back here.
It's set down. Joe Rabideau, I think, again, like you said, getting the guys to calm down a little bit, get them going, and get them, okay, guys, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Let's get out there and a couple yards at a time. Let's win this battle.
Yeah, just coming to the end of the first quarter, and as we mentioned, 12-6 the last time these two teams played against each other. So we expected a defensive battle from the start. So far, we've seen that this game.
Once again, they set up. Out of the eye. Crow has a look, reading the defense, seeing anything special. Hands it off and cutting out. Norman Kerr, he's got a gain of probably 6 yards on that play when he gets hauled down. Good run by Brendan Norman Kerr.
Well, the last time he got the ball and he threw it, you were mentioning he's a big kid and he can make an impression on the ground. Well, we saw that there, just pushing it and willing his way to those extra yards as well, just pushing it forward. He had about 3 or 4 of the Forest City defenders hanging off of him, and he was still able to fall forward. So good on him to make up that ground.
We're going to give a Dylan Machado and number 17, A.B. Johnson, the tackles there. Both of them were the big ones to haul him down. One on each ankle, I think.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no, it was a nice play and a good run by him to get this Cougars offense going on a nice first down there.
As we get ready to duck into the second quarter here, first quarter is done. After one, it's 7-0. The Forest City Thunderbirds lead on a kick return by number 18, Garen Rolls. So 2nd and 4. And that's what the Cougars needed, a good run, Matt.
Yeah, definitely. Just something to get the offense going here, just that confidence in this early in this game.
Norman and Kerr is met at the line of scrimmage with a big brute from a big kicker, number 47. It's Harrion Luther.
Yeah, I'm not sure what met Norman and Kerr quicker there, the ball or the defender, because he was all over him as soon as he touched it. Just not able to find any room there. The first time we saw him swing it out wide and was able to find some room down the sideline. This time trying to go up the gut, and there's a big defensive stop for Forest City.
A movable object.
Yeah, that's right.
It pitched off to Norman and Kerr. He's going to swing off right. Blocks, makes one. He's going to get to a first down. Close to anyway. Right there. And looks like he might be a little bit short of a first down. Gain of about 3.
Yeah, you got to think here the Cougars might even think about going for it. If they turn it over on downs, it's not the worst thing in the world. You're still close to midfield there, and you got to get something going offensively.
I think they got the first down on the measure. Just by, hard to tell on this field, though, but depends. Sometimes these lines aren't exactly the straightest, right? When you get...
Yeah, I think you're right, though. From this perspective back here, it's tough to tell because it is on the far side of the field, but when I initially saw the spot from the line judge on this side, it looked like he was standing a little bit further towards the Cougars end zone, so I thought it was going to be short, but this time, looking at it here, it is tough to tell, but it looks like they may just get this one as a first down. And if it is, I mean, that's a big boost for the Cougars here, not having to make a decision about whether or not you're going to go for it on 4th down. If you are just short, you really think they would probably line up and just try to charge at that extra half yard.
Yeah, and you know what? You're right. I think it's going to be inches, if anything. As the measurement is here, and they pull it tight, and it is a first down, Cougars.
Just the nose of the ball sticking right over there, but this is a game of inches, and that could come down to it to be a big factor in this game. Just that first down that the Cougars were able to get here in the second quarter.
So it'll be first at the Cougars' 48-yard line. And as you mentioned, Matt, that is a big first down for the CK Cougars. It's a whole new breath of life here. And
it's coming on the back of Norman and Kerr. A couple times they've given him the ball, and he's got stopped once early in the second down there, but able to move the ball up the field for them and really showing that offensive spark they needed.
10:30 left in the second quarter, and Jack Crow quarterbacking this Chatham-Kent Cougars. He's back. Looks like he's gonna throw, rolls back, and now he's gonna keep it. Nobody open, and he's gonna be nailed for a loss here as Crow is hauled down at about the 44-yard line. Nobody open, and just quickness on the Forest City defense.
Yeah, he's looking down the field and didn't really have any options there, and by that time it was too late. He was always going to be tackled back there. Couldn't find any room, and his blockers just sort of let too many defenders go through. By the time you're shuffling your feet around, if you're not moving up the field, you're moving back because the defender's going to be all over you, pushing you back like they did there.
So second down at about 14 here for the Cougars on the 44-yard line. And every time to go back to that tricky with Norman and Kerr with the throw. Sure 34 will be touching the ball in this one. Back, Norman and Kerr right up the middle. Breaks one tackle, and he's hauled down right near the original line of scrimmage. So we have 3rd and 10.
And at this point, why not go back to what you know is working for you so far? Give it to the big man, number 34. Let him charge it up the middle this time, and he's able to pull him back past that first down marker as long as they can 5-yard gain after a big loss.
Many college and NFL football coaches through the years is, make them stop you first, right? Why fix if it ain't broke? And Crow is set under center. Sits back, fumbles off the thing, but hands it off to Norman and Kerr, and he busts free. He's a couple yards up, and he is at the 50-yard line, so he's going to be about a yard and a half short. So now here's the decision on the Cougars. Are they going to go for it here with just a couple yards to go? Midfield, why not, right?
Looking for some direction from the coaches, but they're not changing up the squad that's out there on the field. I expect them to go for it here just over midfield. Yeah, if you punt it, you might get a couple yards, but we saw the return team as well from Forest City. Do you want to give the ball back to that receiver back there and give him another shot at doing something special? So looks like they're going to go for it. I would not be surprised. I mean, seems like a broken record out there, but as you mentioned, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Give it back to 34.
Crow under center, sets up. This is going to be a big push by the line, too. They need to get him. And he does not give it to Norman and Kerr. Hands off instead, a first down. Trevon Smith. Little Trayvon Smith is the scampers up for the first down, number 81.
And that's what you can do. You can throw something else into the mix like that, a little trickery when you're just busting it through with number 34. You hand it off to somebody else quickly like that. Don't give the defense any time to adjust, and he was able to find some room quickly as the defense hadn't set up yet quite to make that wall, and were able to pick up a key first down and push it even further into Forest City territory. 2
first downs in a row here for the Cougars on this set, and pulling back is Crow. He's going to be able to throw it off on this one. Fires it out, and short gain. That pass was completed, number 20, Braden Scarab.
Yeah, able to haul this one in. I think it's one of the first completed passes we've really seen that's gone for a gain in this game. So, that gives you a little momentum too, gives you another option. If you got a short gain you need to make up later, you got some confidence in that play now as well.
And on that play, Braden Scarab just got turned around a little bit. He had no opportunity to run. If he would have busted loose, he was gone.
Yeah, if he had caught that and was able to go down the field, maybe, I think you're right, he would have had some more room. And but he was sort of backpedaling at the time he was taken down.
Crow set again. Now they go to split backs. Trayvon Smith on the offset is Norman and Kerr. Norman and Kerr gets it. He's looking for a hole. Got one block, and he's going to carry a couple of tacklers right to about the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you mentioned he was looking for a hole there, and he didn't find it till he almost got to the outside line, so he had to make a decision, had to try to cut in, and by that time had a defender all over his waist, wrapping him up, was able to at least bring it back to the line of scrimmage.
Number 30, David Matthias is the tackler on that. Third down. Third and 7. Got 2 more downs here in this territory. Definitely going to go for it on 4th down every time from here on out.
Yeah, I think so too. Just bury it deep in that Forest City territory and make them make a play. And maybe you can make some nice defensive stops like that in the first quarter, keep it deep in their zone.
Got your slot back on the move, and he's going to hang on to it and run. Nice gain, and close to a first down for number 5, Jack Crow, the quarterback for this Cougars team. He gained, I bet you, he's just a yard short.
Yeah, just shy of the first down there, and when you got quick feet like that, why not take it? You saw a hold on the middle and a bit of a broken play. I think he fumbled the ball off that snap a little bit, so he had to make a quick decision and move those feet quickly as well down the middle, and was able to pick up almost a first down.
So it's 4th and 1 here for the Cougars, and you're going to watch for 34, Norman and Kerr. He's been a workhorse. 1 yard's usually pretty easy for him. And he got a first down on that play. Norman and Kerr hauled down for the first down. Just the first down.
Yeah, depending on the spot here, they may call for another. No, they're going to call it right away. They don't need to get the measuring sticks out for this one. He pushed it back just past what they needed to, so they'll keep moving the chains. It's taking them quite a while, but it's taking time off the clock, keeps the ball out of the other team's hands, and also just pushes this defense. They got to be getting tired marching all the way down the field like this.
So all set up. Crow once again. Fumbles the ball. Gets a little second to pick it up, and he just falls on it, and not for a loss. Wow, that was a close one.
Yeah, that was really close, and heads up play by him just to fall on it and not to turn that ball over after looked like a broken play. So we'll just have 3 downs instead of 4 here for them to make that first down.
Cougars have had the ball for pretty much the whole quarter here, as that's been rolls over the 4-minute mark, and Cougars are at the 35-yard line of the Forest City Thunderbirds, using every down they can, aren't they?
Yeah, they definitely are. They're making it work, and as I mentioned, keeping the ball out of the Forest City's hands, and that's what you want to do.
Hand it off, and busting through there was number 1, Alex Jones. And Jones is a gain of about 8 yards on that play.
How about that last push by Jones, even diving forward, the ball in his hands, reaching for that extra foot or a couple inches, whatever he can get, and pushes it really close for a very makeable 3rd down here. And if you miss on this one, you got that extra 4th down as well to just try to make it to move the chains forward.
Definitely a solid play by Jones. And again, one of these kids, another kid that just his heart and soul into the Cougars team. Out of the eye. Jones and Norman and Kerr. Pitch to Norman and Kerr. He cuts up field and gets to the original line of scrimmage, just past that, and then he's met by a sea of green and gold.
It looked like number 19 for Forest City may have just grabbed his jersey, and that's what slowed him up enough for one of his teammates to take him down. Looked like he had an arm on him still, just hanging on as he was busting through. But yeah, Norman and Kerr making a couple yards, but not quite enough for the 1st down. So they'll have a couple yards to go here on 4th down still.
And there was 26, 28, and 30 in on that after 19 got that tackle. So pretty amazing the pursuit by London there as they set back. 4th down. 4th and about 3 yards. A long 2. And hands it off and close to a 1st down again. Like very, very close for measurement on this. Depends on the spot.
Tries an off-tackle run, stopped by number 19, Jack Austin. Just short of the 1st down. Forest City will take over on down.
They're going to call it short without a measurement, and
that's, you know what, but look at the placement of that ball. So it's on this side of the line here, and then they put it on the line.
I know it does appear that it was further, but you got to trust the officials out there. I guess they saw something, and a ball placement where it is placed right now, I have to agree with you that it did look like they had maybe fallen forward for that 1st down, but they made a very quick judgment to turn the ball over to Forest City.
So the Forest City Thunderbirds will start. Cougars on defense. 7-0 Forest City leads here with 2:42 left in the 2nd quarter. Rolling up to this halftime show. Penalty on the play.
With those quick penalties, it looks like it's going to be a false start on the offense, so they're going to bring that one back 5 yards. So now the penalties really starting to hurt Forest City, deep in their zone, pushing them back even further.
So it turns 1st and 15. And the coaching staff from this side of the field are making their calls.
Yeah, no shortage of enthusiasm from the crowd out here today. It's good to hear, though. You got some passion from the fans.
Again, Sweeney pitches off, and I'm gonna say, I'm not sure if that was a ball of the running back's head that went rolling off there.
Yeah, that's looks like it's gonna be a personal foul, and that'll bring up a 1st down as well after a offensive breakdown. We have a defensive breakdown here too. It's tough, as we mentioned, the size of the kids differs so much here. You got a tall guy coming in on a shorter player who's really moving quickly, and you just try to take him down, where you would sometimes wrap somebody up around the shoulders or the waist. You're leaning in on that, and it looked like you took him down right around the head area, but nobody's hurt, so no worse for the wear, and we'll move the ball down the field this way by penalties again.
Alex Cardero popped right up after that tackle, as it's the first and 10 on the 35-yard line. Forest City with 2:36 left in the half. 7-0 Forest City leads. Gary Patterson, Matt Weavering bringing you today's game. Sweeney under center. Lots of looks for the Thunderbirds. It's fired up, and nice catch, and wow, great tackle by Ben Church.
Yeah, Ben Church just wrapped him up. It almost looked like he could have punched that ball out as well, because the receiver was holding onto it a little loosely, but in any case, able to make a quick tackle there and take him down.
David Matthias is the receiver on that play. Sweeney had a nice arm. He does have a good arm, this young man from London.
He certainly does, and we saw him air it out. If he can find that accuracy with the deep ball, as we saw earlier in the 1st quarter, he could really find a deep threat for a deep target. So the Cougars have to respect that pass as well as the ground game for Forest City.
Sweeney set. Pitches off. Number 29 catches the ball. Santos going east to west, and now finally cuts up, and he's pulled down about the 41-yard line.
Number 29, Quentin Santos for City.
Norman and Kerr on that tackle.
Yeah, Caden Jefferson came over for the Cougars and was looking like he had some speed to match the running back, but wasn't able to take him down and just slipped right by him. So as you mentioned, Norman and Kerr was able to eventually push him out of bounds.
So third down and about 4.5 yards.
Last call for 50-50 tickets, and we'll be announcing the winner.
And a big third down here for both teams. If you're Forest City, you want to push it up and get that first down because you might think about punting it here. If you're the Cougars, a big defensive stop here could get the ball back in your hands quickly.
Sweeney set. Back, he's going to throw. Now tucks the ball. He's going to run with it now. He gets hauled down. And he's shy of a first down on that, but still gain of about 3 yards. So it'll be 4th and 1.
And it will be 4th and 1, as you mentioned. That's a big one. But at the same time, if you're Forest City, you got to think about it. Getting close to midfield here by punting it, do you really get that better field position for your defense out there?
Good pursuit by Alex Jones to chase down Sweeney, Aiden Sweeney, and haul him in. 4th and 1 at the 44-yard line. A long one, 1.5. Sweeney, how's it look? He's got the big fullback Thomas in the backfield, and I'm thinking they'll look to him. Thomas the tank. And they do give it to Thomas, and Thomas is met shy of a first down. A good stop by the Cougars. Let's look at the spot, though. And the Thunderbirds turn it over on downs now.
Yeah, it was thanks to some of the players on the Cougars coming in back, and there even Damon Cheatham coming in. I saw Big 56, and he was pushing him back that other way just to prevent him from coming over top of the pile. Sometimes you see these guys can just keep churning those legs or reach out, but there are a couple of Cougars who came in even after the play seemed like it was stopped just to push him back so he'd fall backwards instead of forwards for that extra couple of yards.
Everybody could see that play. Everybody could see Thomas was getting the ball. Stevie Wonder could have read that play.
Yeah, definitely.
It was right there. You knew he was the man.
Still got to make it happen, and the Cougars were able to turn it over on down, so big turnover there for them.
As they're set now once again. Quarterback Crow sets back, rolls right. How's it look? He wants to throw, but no open receivers. Hangs on to the ball. He's going to scamper. Crow, nice move. And gain of about 5 or 6 yards on that play. Good hustle by Jack Crow.
Yeah, he's just a little guy, but he can make it work back there. He moved his feet around and able to find some blocking as well. Good coverage there from his offensive line and able to find some room and even scramble for those extra yards and make what looked like a broken play into about a 7-yard gain.
So it's 2nd and a long 2.
Second down and long 2 at the Forest City 36.
As they're set. Again, great play by Crow to get him in this position. 2nd down. Cougars got to pick it up a little bit. Minute left in the half. Set up is Crow. Hands it off and fumble.
Ball was loose on the ground on that exchange.
Norman and Kerr bumped into Crow and another player and dropped the ball.
Yeah, it looked like maybe a loss of a yard or so on that play, but loss of a yard is better than loss of possession. That's what could have happened there if he would have turned that ball over after that fumble, able to grab it and stay on his feet and able to push it up the field a little bit even after that. So they'll have a couple chances here still to get that first down.
Less than a minute to move the ball. 36 yards. Crow set. How's it look around? Gives him one last bark back to Norman and Kerr. 33 seconds on the clock. Out of the shotgun now. Pitches off to Norman and Kerr. Norman and Kerr forced inside by the Thunderbirds. And a short gain. Goes down with 19.4 seconds left.
Yeah, not much room for him again there. This Forest City team is really just able to collapse on him, and they're on 4th down now with 20 seconds left. You got to think they got to go for a big play here to push it down the field. Otherwise, the time's going to run out on them, not even the defense, but just that time off the clock.
Great containment. Great containment by the Thunderbirds as Norman and Kerr tried to get to the outside, but there was nothing there at all. So, again, great defensive play by Forest City.
Yeah, you got to think almost hand the ball off to the guy with the best arm on your team, chuck it down there, and get some tall receivers out there and try to make a play. Maybe sort of a Hail Mary just to try to get something going to end this half.
As definitely a little got some Bobby Boucher in the stands here, and getting some good old-fashioned H2O. They asking him drink the water.
We got lots of even the water boys getting some love today out there for sure. Yeah, no, that's good for them. You know, big part of the team, making sure everybody's hydrated, and it's nice and cool in the booth here with the breeze coming through and shaded, but out on the field there, I'm sure it's scorching when that sunshine is out.
And how's this rolling up here at the Chatham-Kent Athletic Complex? Former CFLer John Comiskey is here. Played for Calgary and Edmonton. Big John Com. Played with his brother Dan in Edmonton. What a thrill he was. He got to play with his brother Dan. That was one of the biggest thrills of his career to have the two of them lined up side by each on the offensive line.
Yeah, no doubt. Sometimes you talk about that brotherhood among players in football, but when you can actually play with your real, you know, flesh and blood brother, that's quite something to be able to do that.
Here comes Crow. He's got 16.9 seconds left to make the magic happen. And Norman and Kerr gets it again. Going to run up the middle. Now he bumped right. Norman and Kerr tries to get through, but they've got him by the jersey, and they haul him down. And he's one more play. He was pulled down at the exit. That'll be a line. That'll be on changeover of downs. That was the 4th down, and just there was nothing there.
Yeah, so I mean, Forest City will get the ball now, but you got to think it's just going to be a kneel out to finish out this half, and then they'll all go at it fresh in the second half, and the Cougars will get the ball back again to start the second half, so they will get another opportunity off the kickoff once they start up in the second half. But yeah, both teams, I mean, it's only a 7-0 game. It's very close still. The only thing separating them was that one special teams touchdown for Forest City.
Adjustments have to be made, no doubt about it, as Sweeney's going to just step back, and he just tosses it up and intercepted by Trevon Smith with no time left on the clock. And
that's one for the stats sheet, but that's about all that's going to count for. I mean, it's good, though. You know, it gives extra momentum going into the second half when you can have that turnover on downs, but really that's not going to do much for you as far as field position goes or anything like that. Gives your team a little boost to get that interception to close out the half. A nice positive note, and I mean, really, you're only down by 7 if you're the Cougars after that, and both teams, the defense, really the story of the first half.
Exactly. Defense is the key, and we'll see what brings up the second half. But Gary Patterson, Matt Weebrink bring you the game at the end of the first half. It's 7-0. The Forest City Thunderbirds leading the Chatham-Kent Cougars here at Ontario Varsity Peewee football playoff action. Back to second half action here. Chatham-Kent Cougars taking on the Forest City Thunderbirds. Gary Patterson, Matt Weebrink. As you can see, getting ready to kick off for the second half here, and it should be a dandy. Again, this first half was all about defense, Matt.
Yeah, the Cougars, you know what, in that second quarter pretty much had the ball the whole time and were able to charge it down the field for quite a bit. Just couldn't find the end zone, as we see them here receiving with the nice return off the kickoff.
Making the Caleb Roberts running it back.
And the defense was big for the Cougars. The only thing that stopped him short was that one time on that kick return that Forest City scored their touchdown on. It was that punt return after the first time that he tried to go outside. This time made the cut to the inside on Alex Jones and was able to slip by him for that touchdown. So other than that, the defense for the Cougars looked really good, and the offense started turning it on in the second quarter and was able to push it down the field, just not quite able to make it far enough for a touchdown.
Well, and that's what the Cougars definitely. I'm sure they made some adjustments with the offense, and maybe throw a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know what they can do, because the containment of the end penetration was both great by Forest City defense, so they're going to have to spread them out a little bit, maybe a couple more throwing plays. So the first play they started out with Norman and Kerr throwing, that seemed to be a big one.
It was, yeah, and Norman and Kerr after that, I think he just held on to the ball pretty much every play that they gave it to him, and trying to swing it out wide, also trying to go up the middle, and as you mentioned, the defense for Forest City just collapsing on them in the middle, and on the outside able to push them out. So if they can, maybe this might expect them to see them just chip away at it. Maybe it'll be 3 or 4 downs. It takes them to get a first down here, but I expect Chatham to come out swinging and maybe see a lot more of number 34 with the ball in his hands in the second half.
As they cart number 21 Spencer Jones off the field, looks a little ouchy there, a little ways walking. I guess being carried more than walking. First and 10 at the 43-yard line for the Cougars. Quarterback Jack Crow set, and we'll see what the Cougars have to offer here. They spread things out. Norman and Kerr not in the backfield. He's a wide out here.
This is something to start, something different to start the second half here already.
Out of the shotgun. Sets back. Fires a strike to Norman and Kerr, and he's close to a first down. And you know what? The speed of that play was quick. They knew, very decisive.
And he was able to find some room in the middle there. Nobody was able to cover him as he cut inside the defenders and was able to make that grab. And Norman and Kerr showed those sure hands when he was grabbing the handoffs, grabbing those pitches in the backfield. Now he shows again that when you post that ball right in his chest, he can make that catch and turn it up the field.
So 2nd and 1. Set down is Crow. He steps back. Let's play out a shotgun. In the backfield, I think that's Trayvon Smith. It's not Trayvon Smith. It's number 10, Jackson Henderson. And Henderson is hauled down just short of a first down. Well, they might. Depends where they give it to spot. And they're calling it right to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Forest City's got a couple of those big guys, 47 and 49. Those guys are both going to make you pay if you make any stutter steps like that. You got to make a quick decision to get by those guys right on the offensive line, and you're able to burst through and make a tackle there for basically no gain on that play.
So 2 shots to get the first down here. Crow. Set, pulls back. Sees Norman and Kerr off to the left. Pulls back and looking for the open man, just lobs it up. And Scarab couldn't haul that in. Braden Scarab incomplete.
Yeah, it was a good launch, and he had it good distance. Everything was there for it. As you mentioned, just Scarab couldn't haul that one in, and you could see right away the disappointment on his face and with his hands blowing him up there too. But as I just saw back there, Norman and Kerr gave him a little slap on the back. You know, you'll get it next time, bud. Make sure you haul that one in. But sometimes you get a little bit too much time out there almost, and you get so much running through your head about how much time you're going to do and what you're going to do next. First thing you got to do is secure the football.
They got Crow set, hands it off again, and very close to a first down. I don't know if he got it or not. They're by the spot of the line judge here. It is a first down.
Yeah, they're going to signal first down right away, and it was that forward progress. As we saw, the ball did get pushed back behind the first down marker, but by that time they had already penetrated past through the defense and just enough for that first down. And we'll see if the Cougars can keep pushing the ball up the field here.
8:59 left in the third quarter, 7-0. Forest City still leads in that first quarter touchdown. It has been a defensive battle today, Matt.
Yeah, and I think if you saw the possession numbers, as far as time of possession, the Cougars have had the ball quite a bit more than Forest City, but Forest City making it count on that one kick return.
Crow rolls back. He's looking to throw, fires it up, and trying to get it, and tipped. A nice tip by number 27 there for the Thunderbirds, Carson Wright.
Again, that defensive penetration. Crow had to look to his left and to his right and had to make a quick decision, and at that point was able to lob it away and avoid a loss, but it was almost intercepted there by Forest City as they had a couple hands out there that got the hand on the ball.
And this time Norman and Kerr is going to line up in the backfield here. As they're set, Crow having a look, just last second read of the defense. Kicks back. Norman and Kerr gets it. And cuts off. He's got a first down, and he could be off to the races. Norman and Kerr is gone as he broke a tackle and got a couple of good blocks and was gone. Touchdown, Cougars.
And now you see why they've been handing the ball to that guy all game so far. It doesn't matter how many times he touches it. All he needs is that one opportunity like he got there. I think, as you mentioned, maybe regrouping over the half and getting those defensive or those offensive line blocking assignments out there a little bit better maybe. And he was able to find room that time after he broke the first couple tackles. Was able to just run past the defense. Nobody was catching up to him.
No, he was gone. And a great blocking up front, as you mentioned, that he just, he got those blocks and that sprung him free.
Didn't have to move to the side as much as he did earlier too, and when you can look upfield like that, you find that hole, and he just ran right through and was able to penetrate way past the defense and just took right off.
Going for 2 here. Hands it off, and just not enough for Trayvon Smith. He's met by green and gold jerseys.
And it looked like he was trying to go behind one of his blockers, but that blocker just got stopped, and he ran right into the back of green shirt and wasn't able to bounce off it or roll off of it and find some room to get in the end zone. So they'll be down by 1 now, handing the ball back over to Forest City. But what a big play there by Norman and Kerr. Just thinking back to that as he ran the ball all the way in. That was at least 55, 60 yards that he took it all the way back to the end zone.
Slanted off to the right and got those big blocks and was gone. And it's nice to see that, the explosiveness when you can get that one explosive play, how much it makes a difference in the game. And
Definitely.
same with London, right? With Forest City when they had that, when Rolls ran that back.
Absolutely. It's just those one big plays that seem so far. Once those players just find a hole and are able to get through to that secondary, they can just burst past with a burst of speed and nobody can catch them.
Norman and Kerr set. Rolls is not in the backfield. It's number 2. Adam Abuzini is set to receive. And on the far side, number 25, Alex Cordero. He drills it right through the middle. And scooping up is number 23, Nathan Switzer. Switzer makes it to the sideline, and he's met by some green jersey. Cuts back center, gets a couple blocks. He's going. he's run about 200 yards already. And finally, he's pulled down at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, finally taken down after a zigzag all the way back and forth. You mentioned, I think he ran about 100 yards going back and forth laterally on that play, but able to come back this way and then make some more blocking assignments in the middle, and was able to find a couple more holes and push it back for a lot further than I thought he would have made going back and forth.
What a great game we've got going on here today. 2 very evenly matched teams in talent and strength.
Yeah, no kidding. And we saw last game these 2 teams played 12-6 for the Cougars, so only 1 point separating them at this point in the game as well.
So here comes Forest City. Their shot at the ball. Aiden Sweeney under center. Pulls back. Sweeney hands it off to Cordero. Cordero cuts up through center. He's got a gain of about 4 yards, and then he's hauled down. Norman and Curran on that tackle, too.
Yeah, it's finding a little bit more room now. It seems like defense opening up a little bit. The offense really finding their rhythm, and maybe some adjustments over the half, and maybe also some exhaustion. You're out there in the sunshine, and both these defenses have to be out on the field quite a bit, and just maybe getting a little exhausted, backpedaling, and missing some assignments. But so far, we've seen both offenses looking pretty strong.
Yes, they are. Ben Church was in on that tackle, too. Sweeney under center. Pulls back, pitches off. Cordero once again makes a little juke and gets to the sideline, but good pursuit. Not sure that was by the Cougars. Again, number 46, Ben Church.
Yeah, Ben Church, he had some wheels out there making that tackle, able to shove him to the outside as one of his teammates was also in pursuit, number 22 there, Joseph Reimer, the big man who we saw take somebody down earlier, throw him down like a rag doll. If he gets a hold of you, you're going down hard.
Yes, you are. No prisoners on his part, eh?
Yeah, no ransom there. He just takes you right down.
Pulled back, handed off, and Cordero once again gets it, and he's close to a first down, but he was stopped just short. And woof.
Yeah, Malachi Ladd was one of the guys, number 44 for the Cougars there, right on that tackle, but it was a pair of them in the middle who just it looked like he hit a wall and bounced right off of it when he got to that point. So good job by the defense holding them there for a 4th down and putting the pressure on Forest City now to make it.
4th and 1 as We're going to look for old Thomas, number 44. I'm sure they're going to call his number on this play. As they set, the O-line's ready. Sweeney under center, and he's going to keep it himself. Great play by Sweeney to get a first down for the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, it was a quick decision by him, too. Looked like he almost caught it around his knees, a little bit lower maybe than he would have liked. But as you mentioned, most people, I think, as well as us, were expecting a handoff to the big man for Forest City, but decides to keep it himself and run up the middle and not give that defensive line any time to make any adjustments.
See in the back behind, the championship game all worked up. Got the guys from Brantford and the Sarnia Sturgeon. Brantford wearing the Chicago Bears colors and Sarnia wearing the Denver Broncos colors here.
We got a flag on the play here, and we're going to have to see where the referee signals this one.
And marching it off against, I believe, against Forest City.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick flag, so usually that's either an offside or a false start. We got a 5-yard penalty back here, so that'll push them back after that big gain. Basically negates that, but it keeps them with the first down.
You know, they've had a couple procedure calls that have been detrimental to their forward progress. As they set, Sweeney once again, 1st and 15. The 37-yard line, 5:10 left in the third quarter. 7-6 the score, Forest City leading Chatham. Handed off to Thomas. Flag is down, and Thomas is pulled in.
Joe Thomas on the carry. There's a flag down on the near side.
Yeah, we got another flag on the play again here, and it came just after the ball was snapped, so it's going to be against the Cougars, it looks like. That's what the signal was anyways, and signaling for a first down. So
Reimer was in on that tackle. It's an offside call, so it's going to be first down and 1st and 10. Alex Jones is saying, what's going on here?
yeah, we're still trying to wait to sort out where they're going to spot the ball as well, as the referee has it in his hand, but
almost looks like sets it down, so it'll be 1st and 10. 1st and about 12.
oh, it looks like they may have waved it off.
Picked up the flag.
Yeah, there we go. It was a penalty against Forest City declined by Chatham, or yeah.
So it'll be 2nd and 12. And fumble on the play. Sweeney picks it up. He's going to be forced to run for his life. And he's got all green jerseys all over him. Finally, he gets out of bounds at about the 40 for a loss of about 4 yards.
Yeah, a couple of Cougars almost able to take him down there. Looked like one of them hit the ground pretty hard over here, and that's Norman Kerr. Yeah, so not the guy you want to get up slowly like that. It looks like he's going to be okay. Maybe just thinking about taking a couple extra seconds to think about what he could have been there if he would have taken him down a yard earlier. Maybe fell on that shoulder wrong or something.
Exactly. I think fell a little rough on his shoulder, but dust off and get up and go, son.
Yeah, and they still tagged him for a loss on that play. So Forest City in a tough position here, and the Cougars defense able to keep pushing them back.
3rd down and about an $8 cab ride. Sweeney set. Pulls back. He's going to pitch it off to Santos. Santos. Gain of a short gain, maybe a yard, if anything, and then he's hauled down by a bunch of green jerseys. Ben Church in on that as well as number 20 for the Cougars.
Yeah, he was able to cover some ground, but it was only going laterally that he made that ground up, so it will be basically no gain on that play, and it'll come up 4th down and very long. So if you're the Forest City team out there, I think you might actually look at punting this one. There's not much chance you're going to make that in a close game like this. You just want to bury the Cougars deep in their own zone.
And number 47, Harlan Luther, out the kick. Luther, good punt. Norman and Kerr scoops it up, has a look upfield, heads for the sideline, and he's hauled down. Tackle by Santos. He kind of jacked him up and grabbed him by the leg and ripped him down.
Yeah, he grabbed him. He knows where to tackle Norman and Kerr. You might miss him around his waist, but if you grab one of his legs, he's not going anywhere. So takes him right down, and he had a target on there. Wow, he had his sights set right where he wanted to tackle him. Made no mistake, grabbed him right around the leg and tore him down after that ball really just died on that bounce, and Cougars not able to turn up for much, but at least they got the turnover on downs, or turnover on that kick return as well.
So we've got 3:45 left in the third quarter, 7-6. the score. It's Forest City leading the Chatham-Kent Cougars. Cougars get their newfound offense going. The back, Norman and Kerr takes it, runs that same play, got the touchdown on, makes it through, blocks another tackle, first down, and he's going to be hauled down at about the 35-yard line, but not before getting a first down.
I think this guy just keeps getting better every time he touches the ball, doesn't he? My goodness, those jukes he had in there to avoid some of those tackles. Had somebody wrapped up around the waist, but I think the secret is out. You got to grab him by his leg, otherwise he's going to keep churning, and able to move sideways, a couple cuts inside there, and yeah, able to pick up that big first down.
And that little slant, just they got the right blocks and was gone. So Norman and Kerr in the backfield again. Quarterback Jack Crow. And again, the same play. And a gain of about almost 9 yards on that play.
Yeah, and why not just keep giving it back to him? We saw this in the second quarter as well. If you give that ball to number 34 and he finds any sort of room like he did there again, I think their blocking assignments up front are getting a little bit more familiar with their opponents maybe, and able to watch and know some tendencies of some of those defensive players that are coming in here. And Chatham-Kent again, able to just hold on to that ball and push it up the field like they were in the second quarter as well.
Just keep feeding them. So the Cougars seem to have found an Achilles heel for the Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds are stacked a lot in the center, so they're waiting for something up the middle. Norman and Kerr out to the left. Look for a throw maybe here. As taken for a loss on that play, as dropped the ball off there. Crow couldn't handle the snap.
Yeah, a little miscommunication on the beginning there. You saw Norman and Kerr lined up in the backfield, and he was motioned out by one of his teammates to go out wide. And at that point, he already had a bad feeling about that play, and then just the fumble, at least they were able to hold on to it as well. But, yeah, there was a bit of a broken play there for the Cougars, and they'll look to turn things around on third down here.
3rd and 6, and a loss of 5 on that play. And I'm sure you're going to see that little slant run by Norman and Kerr again. Set up. Norman and Kerr takes it. Cuts up. Makes the corner. And first down and pushed out near midfield. Good hustle by Norman and Kerr and good pursuit and the tackle made by number 30, David Matthias.
Yeah, again, using the width of that field out there just to find some room. And he shows you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. I mean, he didn't have much room on the sideline there, but was able to still make up another 5 or 6 yards on that dive. And, you know, that run as well, just able to avoid some of those defenders and push it up the field just over midfield now, and they're going into Forest City territory. Important thing, too, you're keeping the ball out of the hands of that Forest City squad by what you're doing right now. We saw in the second quarter, if they can keep that possession game going, then you're keeping the offense off the field for Forest City and keeping your guys out there.
They're set. Crow takes the ball, hands it off to Trayvon Smith. Smith looking for a hole, and he couldn't find one. The rabbit hole closed up really quickly on him. Tackle made by 28, Nicholas Seibold.
Only thing that seems to be working right now is when you hand the ball off to 34. You do have to change it up a little bit, though. You want to keep the defense guessing. Maybe a couple of quick passes. We saw that earlier, too, even and get Norman and Kerr lined up along there and maybe throw it out to him. But at this point, when the 34 has the ball in his hands, that's your best shot.
So 16 seconds left in the third quarter. This could be the last play of the quarter. Norman and Kerr getting a little break on this one. They're back and hand it off once again. Hand off to Ben Church. Church is going to try and cut the corner. Gets the corner and gain of almost a first down. Good hustle by Church.
Yeah, it was a nice inside cut on him, too. The defender was able to stick with him and take him down, but he saw what his teammate was doing the whole time, you know. Go out wide, there's some room out there, and you're going to be able to find a hole, and he was there and used that speed that we saw out of Church now, too. So the Cougars appear to have a couple of options going forward, which is good because Norman and Kerr did appear to be getting a little bit roughed up out there with the number of tackles he's been taken down on.
I'm sure he'll be back out this play. So after 3 quarters of play, it's 7-6, the Forest City Thunderbirds leading the Chatham-Kent Cougars here in Ontario Varsity Football playoff action. And again, this is for third place in the division. And the Cougars they're well well poised to make a run here this last quarter.
Yeah, absolutely, and now they got third down and about just under 5 yards to go, and they're in the offensive zone territory for them, trying to push it in for a couple more yards to get that first down, keep this ball going.
Referee checking with the officials. Make sure everybody's on the same page. Right yardage. So they give them, it looks like they're taking away a couple yards there, and they're going to move out just a little bit.
Yeah, the officials still trying to sort something out here, because I thought they were about 5 yards short of
It should be,
first down,
it's third and about 4 yards or 3 yards.
unless there was a penalty on that last play, but I didn't see any flags. We'll get this sorted out.
Mix up on yards here. Might have
We'll
to go to
get
the
this
video
sorted
for
out.
this one.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, we'll get this sorted out eventually here. We can hear some fans out here too. They got their own opinions that they're trying to share with the officials, and
Finally, the chain gang got it. They've got it set.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
There we go.
They're
Third
getting
and
there.
2. So here they
Alright.
go. Crow set with third down. So they got 2 downs. Norman and Kerr in the backfield. Trayvon Smith throws the block. Norman and Kerr cuts out and did not gain a lick on that one. Trying to go right up the middle again.
Yeah, I'll have to do a do-over on that one maybe after looked like he got wrapped up very quickly. We've seen him a number of times earlier coming to this side. This time obviously going to the right side of the field again, but just couldn't find any room. It was the gold and green jerseys taking him down.
So 4th and 2, a long 2. Here on the 43-yard line, Cougars looking to get a first down to keep their drive rolling with 11:15 left in the 4th quarter. This is a big 4th down for Chatham-Kent. Hands off once again, Norman and Kerr. This time he busts free, and he's going to get a first down and a little bit more. So first down, Cougars on Norman and Kerr takes the run.
Tries the right side of the Forest City defense.
Yeah, big play by number 34 again. Norman and Kerr, you mentioned he's able to make it through this time, and it was a do-over there after that rough third down. He's able to make it when it counts, and that's what he's been doing all game, is just give the ball to him when you're going to need a clutch play.
Having a couple extra inches in height, it makes a big difference at this age, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and you never know when people are going to reach that growth spurt. He appears to be one of the the taller guys on the team, and give him the ball because he's a big guy out there.
It's Trayvon Smith. Smith tries to get through a little bit. He might have gained almost a yard, maybe a little bit less. Trayvon Smith, he did a great job to hang on to the ball there.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point in the game, you don't want to turn over like that, so he's able to hold on to it, push the ball forward about half a yard or so, and maybe we'll try to gain a little bit more on this next one.
No gain on that play is going to bring it a second down and 10.
As once again, Jack Crow under center. Norman and Smith is the sole back now. Crow rolls out right. He's going to get some blocks, and Crow gain of maybe about 2 or 3 on that play. Hard to tell from here. Gain of almost 2 yards.
Yeah,
So it'll be
trying to do something new there again, and as you mentioned, yeah, Crow holding on to the ball this time. I think if Norman and Kerr could have gotten in front of him maybe for a bit of a bigger block, he might have found a little bit more room, but the whole time it was just going to be a short gain, I think, as Forest City collapsed on him quickly.
And the outside game is so important with this Forest City team because their defense is so tough inside. Is once again 3rd down and 8. Pitched off, Scarab, and Scarab was sniffed out, chased down by number 47, Harlan Luther. Luther sniffed that out.
Yeah, between 47 and 49, those guys are big guys on that defensive line for Forest City, and this time it was 47 taking them down for a loss. So they got a big 4th down coming up here. There's still enough time on the clock that maybe you think about punting it deep into their end zone, into their zone, but at the same time, you want to keep the ball in your hands, so it's going to be a big play either way here for the Cougars.
Number 44, Malachi Ladd, is out there.
Yeah, they might have to call a time. I was going to say they might have to call a timeout here. Yeah, I thought they might have to call a timeout. A little bit of frustration maybe on the part of the coaches, but I think it was a timeout anyways. So I thought I saw something, but no movement on the field yet really by the players.
Now with fourth and long, they do call the timeout. You hit it on the head. Kick it, hold them, and then try and hold them deep. And
yeah, big decisions to be made at this point in the game with 8:37 left, and you're down by 1.
Can't give up any big plays here, that's for sure.
You really can't, and you got to think either way. Maybe a fake punt here even. You get the ball to somebody back there if you can look for a pass off the play, or I don't know. It's a tough call to make if you're that coach and you're looking at the field and you're thinking 8:37 left. I mean, the Cougars have shown you the way to burn the clock. If you just want to keep running the ball and you can keep getting those 1st downs, you can run the clock out if you're Forest City. At the same time, if you're the Cougars and you kick it deep and you get a quick three or four stops on them, you're going to have good field position to start. So a big decision for the Cougars here, and they're only down by 1. It's been a close game, only 1 point separating the two teams.
Coach Rabideau, they're sitting down, kind of come up with something to get past his defense here.
Point in the season too where you save some plays like this, and probably something that you're not used to running very often, so we'll see what the kids can pull out.
Xander Collins set to kick. Right to Rolls. The Rolls bobbles a little bit, and the Cougars are all over him, and they do pin him deep at about the 15-yard line. Good hustle and pursuit by the Cougars. Getting down there was again Norman and Kerr and number 20 Scarab.
Yeah, so I thought that might be the way to advance the ball even quicker. You know, you can kick it down there and you can take them down. You put it on your defense now to make a couple quick stops. If you can do that, you still have 1 timeout as well. You can stop the clock that way. So a couple of options for the Cougars, but really coming down to their defense now, they're going to have to make a couple big stops.
And remember the arm of quarterback Aiden Sweeney. He can fire it a long way at this age.
Yeah, if it comes down to it, you got to respect that long ball as well. As you mentioned, a couple of players out wide for Forest City who could go deep.
Sweeney pitches back. Listen off to Cardero. Cardero left to right a lot. And Norman and Kerr hauls him down and fumbled on that play, but the ground caused the fumble. So he probably had a gain of about 5 yards on that play.
Yeah, they're saying he was down, even though the ball did pop out, as you mentioned. And yeah, gain of just under 5, I think, yards there. So Cougars will need to do a little bit more than that to stop him on this next play as well if they want to hold him to those 4th downs and force the other team to punt it away.
This is where they need that penetration and make a stop in the backfield. So we're 2nd and 5 with 7:24 left in the 4th quarter. 7-6, the Thunderbirds leading the Cougars. Chatham on defense. Aiden Sweeney, quarterback for the Thunderbirds, pitches out to Santos, and Santos is stopped shy of the line of scrimmage, so taken for a loss of about a yard.
Yeah, I think the fans anxiously watching the referees there too. It was a quick jump for the Cougars, and heard some fans, I think, for Forest City were hoping for an offside call, and even that tackle, the hands, you know, once they get up around that chest area, start to wonder if it's going to be a high tackle or not. But clean through and through for the Cougars there, and able to hold them and even get a loss on that play.
That was a big play. That was big. If they can stop them here now, have it and then get the turnover on downs. Or they're probably going to kick it, but even they kick it and keep it in their own half of the field.
Yeah, a couple big stops so far for the Cougars. They will need one more here to force that punt.
It pitches off. This is to Cardero. Cardero makes the move, and Ben Church is there, and so does Scarup. And they stymie him maybe at a short gain of maybe one.
Yeah, it looked like Scarup was the guy who hauled him down, and that's going to bring up a big fourth down here now for the Cougars. So it's all you could ask from your defense, the 3 quick stops like that, and force them to punt it now so they can maybe turn it back. And we got Norman and Kerr here in the backfield to receive.
And on the other side, they're going to kick probably trying to get it to Caleb Roberts. Doesn't know what a beast Norman and Kerr is, so Luther set to kick, number 47, Harlan Luther. Luther with a kick. And again, kicks it over towards Roberts. Roberts has a look, waits, picks it up, gets the block, and cuts up field. And Roberts is hauled down out of nowhere. Came number 29, Santos.
Yeah, out of nowhere is right, but we saw Santos on the offensive side of the ball as well. He's got speed, and he can really move when he starts those legs going. So he came out of nowhere and was able to make that tackle. Still to turn it up for a couple yards, though. Still have good field position, just under 6 minutes left.
So they're at the 36-yard line, and 5:56 left. This is good. It's all the marbles comes down to the last plays here.
Yeah, no kidding. We were going into this game not really sure what to expect, but thinking it would be a defensive battle, and that's what we've seen so far. Low-scoring game, but no shortage of action on both sides of the ball.
The last game was 12-6. This one could very well work out a 12-7 game.
And not much to separate these two teams in the standings at all, and 3 and 4 and playing for third place here.
Ben Church has the ball, tries to cut upfield, and maybe gets back the original line of scrimmage. They give him a couple inches on gain on that, but that's it.
Yeah, not much, but at least it wasn't a loss. There is so much room out wide. If you can swing it like that, you get a guy with speed like Church or like Norman and Kerr, get the ball in their hands and try to go out wide again.
I think you're going to see one of these little guys who have the speed is going to be the hero of today's game. Norman and Kerr has been tremendous, but you get to one of these little guys and they break through, they're gone.
It could be one of these quick snaps. We saw that earlier in the game as well. You snap it off to someone right away instead of going for that swing out wide, and you sort of surprise the defense, and you get a good block up the middle. You can maybe find some penetration up there.
Out of the shotgun, look for this little slant play, this little slant pass. No, he ends off Norman and Kerr. Norman and Kerr, big block and cuts up. And again, gain of maybe 2 yards on that play. And making the stop on that was number 27, Carson Wright. He's had a couple big stops today and a big tip for a pass, too. Knock down a pass.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it looks like that it's just the way he's grimacing there on the field. That could be the last stop he makes this game. It's just under 5 minutes left now, and he's getting some extra attention out there. Made that tackle, but fell awkwardly. It looked like maybe his knee or his leg somewhere.
A little bit slow getting up. He's got to be off for a couple plays anyway. The injury timeout.
Carson Wright is able to get up and make his way off the field.
Yeah, able to walk off under his own power, too. Doesn't appear to be limping, so that's a good sign for him, too. You don't like to see injuries, especially this late in the game for either team.
So it'll be third down and about 7 yards for the Chatham-Kent Cougars as they go into the huddle, figure out the game plan, the master strategy here. Jack Crow, the quarterback. Brendan Norman and Kerr has been the workhorse today. Trevon Smith in the backfield as well. Crow under center. Set. Norman and Kerr takes the handoff, and he rumbles for probably about 6 yards. So he's going to leave that'll be fourth and about 2 yards, 2.5.
Yeah, he picked up about what they needed, but not quite there. So now it brings up a big fourth down again. I think at this point in the game, with that clock running down, you got to take anything you can get. So I think we're past the point of punting the ball now. They're going to have to just try to find some magic here to push that through for a first down, maybe more.
Definitely got to punch it through. You get the go-to guy. Look for Norman and Kerr. Crow fumbles it. Norman and Kerr picks it up. He's got a scamper, and he's hauled down to the backfield because of the bad snap. And so the Cougars, 3:47, their defense is really going to have to go to work here.
Yeah, just an unfortunate snap there. It was fumbled right off the bat, and you just knew it wasn't going to go anywhere from there. And by the time it got to Norman and Kerr's hands, it was just too long. The defense had enough time to come in there and just make a block and block him off where he was going to make a run. But yeah, it just came up shy on that attempt as well.
Got to give the Forest City Thunderbirds great marks here because their defense has been solid all day long, and they've done all the little things right.
Yeah, defense and special teams coming up big for them. There was that touchdown early in the game when they had that punt return for a touchdown. And
what a tackle by Trayvon Smith as he nailed Cardero in the backfield for loss of about 3 yards.
Yeah, just as we're talking about the defense for Forest City, I mean, both defenses so far in this game have been really highlighting the plays here. Almost all the highlight reel is coming down to defensive tackles and defensive stops like that one there. Punching for a loss and pushing it back deeper in there. And 3 minutes left now, and time winds down. But you need three more big stops here, or 2 more at least to force that punt.
And you need them in a hurry. As once again, quarterback Sweeney hands it off. Cardero takes it. Short gain. Not even back to the original line of scrimmage. So good shut down by the Cougars. Of course, the Thunderbirds taking their time. They want to run off as much time on the clock as they can.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to have the 3-minute warning here.
In this tightly contested game, we have now reached the 3-minute warning.
So just under 3 minutes left, and Cougars need one more big defensive stop here in order to force that punt, get the ball back, and try everything they can to try to make it through that Forest City defense.
Then they'd have to bring out the razzle-dazzle, won't they?
The referee's going to have to talk something over here. Hard to believe that's only 1 point separating these two teams out here. And really, that's what we've seen all game, just back and forth, defense making stops, offense trying to push through. Only a couple big plays on those scoring plays, a couple big runs, and that's the only thing separating them is that 1 point.
Sweeney hands off, and falling on the play and trying to get upfield is number 8, Thomas Mazurek, but Mazurek is stopped, so that'll force Forest City to kick, and when they get it back, it'll be about the Cougars will have about 2 minutes left to make the work done and to run up probably about 40 yards.
Yeah, they're going to have to move the ball down the field quickly. Wouldn't be surprised to see them air it out a couple times. You got to take those chances at this point in the game.
As once again, Harlan Luther, big number 47, set to kick. And he does have a good boot. Almost blocked. Clean kick, clean catch. And pulled down about the 42-yard line, and number 32, Caleb Roberts.
Yeah, it was a nice big kick. Had some time in the air for Forest City to make their way down there. Able to make that tackle. You saw Norman and Curry. He was coming out paving the way. He was going to make any blocks that were going to come from players that were opposing him from the front, but it was from the side there. One of the Forest City players able to come in and wrap him up around the waist.
2:09 left in the fourth quarter. Cougars have one timeout left.
I would think at least once or twice we'd see Norman and Kirk come out on the outside to receive a pass potentially. We saw that nice cut to the inside he had earlier in the game when he caught that pass, but this time he's lining up the backfield again.
They've got a lot of room off to that right side. And again, fumbled snap, and the pass is sent, but short as he was tackled. That meant for Roberts, but again, a fumbled snap, that really hurts.
It does, and even at this point, though, even though he tossed it away and it looked like it was never going to make it there, it was going into an open field. There were no defenders there either, and that's a key point because then they don't force a loss on that play. At least he gets the ball off before he gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
So 2nd and 10. Cougars at the 42-yard line. Jack Crow, quarterback. Crow set, takes the snap clean, hands it off to Norman and Kerr. Norman and Kerr, gain of about 3 yards on that play.
Brandon Norman and Kerr with a gain of a couple up the middle. David Tama on the stop.
And one more chance to get that first down. Then you got a big 4th down coming up. So if they don't get it here, I'd expect to see a timeout for the Cougars, they got to find something going here.
Play is sent in by D.D. Dudley. Reads it off. Say, boys, here's what we're doing. Crow. Out of the shotgun. Norman and Kerr in the backfield. Crow rolls right. Fires it off deep. There's a flag on the play. Fires up and can't tell if it's caught. Caught by the Cougars. Let's see if there's a Scarab makes the catch, but we'll see what the play, who it's against.
They're calling the referees in for a conference here. Oh, it's going against the offense. Oh, that hurts. That is a big blow after a big pass and reception. He threw it up. Oh, it's still going to be third down, it looks like, but they're going to bring him back 5.
Holding
They'll bring him back 10 yards.
Big call against the Cougars.
Wow.
So 1:32 left. They're at the 48-yard line.
Yeah, sometimes with those passes, the quarterback gets a little bit extra time. You wonder why. Well, in this case, the referees called it for holding. And even though that was a nice Hail Mary pass down the field, and Cougars ended up catching it, but they're going to need more magic like that.
Great concentration by Scarab to haul that in as well. All for naught, as once again, out of the shotgun. Quarterback Crow rolls right. Fires it up, straight up in the air, and intercepted by the Thunderbirds. Hauling that in is number 29, Santos. Norman and Kerr, the intended receiver. He was just swarmed by Thunderbirds.
City takes over at their own 40-yard line.
Yeah, he threw up a prayer there, and that's all you could do at that point. I mean, he didn't have as much time this time. He had a defender barreling down on him, and he had to throw the ball, had to leave his hands somehow. So threw it up, hoping that one of his teammates would be able to catch it. But the Forest City able to track that one down, haul it down, and I think they're going to try to run the clock here.
That's it, taken for a loss, but 7-6, the Thunderbirds lead.
Trayvon Smith on the stop after a loss of 2. Brings up second down and 12.
Trayvon Smith digs in there.
That was a quick snap and a quick play, quick takedown for the Cougars, so they're going to have to hope for some magic here, though.
Divine intervention is what the Cougars need right now, I think. With the Thunderbirds' defense have just been stifling today. Hands off again. This one to Cardero. Cardero taken for a loss.
Yeah, in a close game like this, with the time winding down, you think back to a couple of plays earlier in the game where just could have made the difference one way or another. Think about that failed 2-point conversion for the Cougars when they could have been up by 1 instead of down by 1 at this point, and that even that made field goal that was driven right through the uprights by Forest City, that extra point making the difference at this point in the game.
So is their set. Sweeney out of the shotgun. Let's check that. No, he's not out of the shotgun. He set back. Got Thomas in the backfield. Thomas steps out right. Sweeney rolls back. He's going to keep this one and try and run off as much off the clock as he can. And he's going to get short of a first down with 31 seconds left. So it's fourth down and a couple.
What a last-ditch effort from the Cougars there to take him down. It looked like he was going to be able to stay on his feet, but just knocked him enough, even though the tackle wasn't a clean tackle to take him down, knocked him enough that he lost his balance and fell forward, and brings up a big fourth down here. So
I would say the wise thing would be to kick here, just because you're taking any kind of idea of a fumble or anything out of the name of the game, right? It takes any room for error out if you just punt it and you have your defense hold it. They're going to go for it. They're just going to hang on to it, kneel maybe. As Sweeney set, 10 seconds left. And Sweeney rolls right, rolls left. And the clock goes. That'll be it for the game. So the Forest City Thunderbirds have defeated the Chatham-Kent Cougars 7-6 to take the third place of the Ontario Varsity Football League's Peewee Division. They're going to
Well, I think
one more play.
They may give them one more play here. Yeah, there is still hope for the Cougars. I was wondering, as that time wound down, they're going to give them 1 second on the clock, I believe. They tackled him and took him down with maybe about 1 second left in this game. So there will be time enough for one more play, one more prayer thrown up. Started the celebrations a little too early, I think, some of the crowd, and we thought it might be over as well. But the referees will give them one more shot at it.
So now, less than a second left on the clock. Last play of the game. Cougars, last-ditch effort. Talking about having your back against the wall. The Thunderbirds defense has been stifling all day long.
Yeah, you never know. It was about this much, a little bit more than that. When Norman and Kerr took that run in, it was about 60, almost 60 yards, I think 50, 55 yards or so when he took that run in. So it's going to be tight. They're going to need a miracle here, but it's possible.
Norman and Kerr on the left side. Crow on the shotgun. Norman and Kerr with a catch. But he's hauled down. There's too many Thunderbirds. As the Forest City Thunderbirds have won third place in the Peewee division of the Ontario Varsity Football League with a 7-6 win over the Chatham-Kent Cougars. And a hard-fought battle by both teams, Matthew.
Yeah, they took the rematch this time, didn't they? 12-6. The last time, Chatham-Kent Cougars pulling out the win. This time, though, it was Forest City who came away with the victory, 7-6. Wow, what a game, what a close game to watch. We expected a close one from the beginning. We expected a defensive battle. This one lived up to the bill.
Well, it shows you how evenly matched these two teams are, right? All the time long. It's defense, their offense were very equal, so it was a pretty amazing game. And the Cougars very disappointed. Thunderbirds pretty stoked up as they run over and grab their gear from the far side. And they'll be presented with the third place trophy now as the Chatham-Kent Cougars are on the field ready for the handshake.
Yeah, great way to finish the season for both teams. I mean, they were right there in the standings, 3 and 4 in the standings, and Cougars just not able to pull it out in this one, but did get that last effort right on that last second play, even coming right down to it. So this one was a really fun one to watch. Great hard-fought battle by both teams.
The excitement of football, Matthew, and that seems the way it always goes. And, of course, excitement tomorrow with the junior varsity team. They've got a big matchup tomorrow in playoff action.
Yeah, big playoff matchup for the junior varsity team. I think a lot of expectation for them coming out again, and that team's been looking strong all year, same as this team out here today on the field. So we expect them to do well, and hopefully a deep run for them this year.
Well, Cesar Torres and the whole crew there with the junior varsity team wish them the best of luck, and congratulations on a great season to this Peewee team, because a lot of these kids will be moving up to Bantam next year. Some of them will be, and the rest staying here. They get their taste of football. A lot of first-year players on this Peewee team, and they get their taste of what playoff football's like.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you got this leaving you hungry for next season when you end a season like this. And yeah, just a great day for it outside with the sunshine coming down. Great day for football, and saw another great game here today after the one right before it too was coming right down to the wire. This one was living up to the bill, as you mentioned. Just a great day of football and great sportsmanship out there too. You can see him shaking hands in the line as well. You know, could have gone either way this afternoon.
Well, both these teams went head-to-head, but both of them all along, you know, even when late in the fourth quarter it's a tight game, they're still reaching down and pulling up their opponents and helping them up off the ground. So that's great to see. And again, the basics of football right here, the running, throwing, catching, and it's awesome to see the fundamentals at work.
Yeah, I think we saw them air it out a little bit more than I thought they would at this level, but still some very accurate passes, great arms by the quarterbacks, and some great plays by both teams, defensively especially. And this one came down to 7-6, you know, low-scoring game, but still no shortage of action. Sometimes you see a low score and you think it was going to be a boring game to watch. This one had everything in it, very exciting. A couple big plays, a lot of defensive stops, and some big plays by the quarterbacks, the running backs, everybody out there. Great job by both teams.
Yes, it was. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on TV Cogeco. I want to thank Jeff Brooks. You know, Brooksy's been definitely, he is the one stalwart who never misses. He is always here for the Chatham-Kent Cougars, and He does everything. He sets us up, and he likes to call himself the man behind the scenes. But Brooksy, you do just one heck of a great job and bringing football to Chatham-Kent, and we really appreciate it. I know the Cougars appreciate everything you do. So again, TV Kojiko, Jeff Brooks, on behalf of Matt Reavrink, I'm Gary Patterson. Folks, thanks for joining us. The final score 7-6. The Forest City Thunderbirds have defeated the Chatham-Kent Cougars. Please have a great afternoon.